Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Weather Plus, or THV Plus. We want to call it Weather Plus because we're providing you a lot of weather this afternoon. I knew I was going to do that.
We try to reherse it.
Nathan Scott joining me, Tom Brannon here with you. Got a little weather on the way just in time for some Halloween activities and festivities. We could have a little severe weather tonight, so our goal here is to give you the who, what, where, when, and why. When we're going to be impacted by the storms tonight, and we'll talk about a weather impact alert that we have for tonight at midnight through 9 o'clock tomorrow. Could be extended a bit depending on the line of storms and when it decides to get through here. Not expecting a huge severe weather outbreak, but overnight storms tend to get people on guard. Gusty winds, possibly a tornado.
And this is nothing unusual, Tom.
No.
We expect this type of situation for the fall. The last time we had severe weather was back in July with the remnants of Beryl. It's not going to be a repeat like that.
No, we certainly
when we had tornado warning after tornado warning after tornado warning. This is more of a cluster of storms in Oklahoma that will merge into a line of rain and thunder. And somewhere there could be a high wind impact, maybe some hail. I think the tornado threat, for the most part, is pretty low, but we can never rule it out.
And the biggest threats of severe weather in Arkansas, northwestern part of the state, over into the southern plains, but that doesn't mean that we may not see some of that gusty wind field here in the central part of Arkansas. So let's walk you through the timing tonight. For those of you that are concerned about the weather, we get a lot of people that stay up with us late. We're going to be here tonight all night, making sure that things are okay in your neighborhood. So here's what we are expecting. So what is the weather impact? Come on, play for me now. It worked well in rehearsal just a few moments ago. So here we go. We've got some Halloween storms on the way. It'll be a line of thunderstorms, a squall line that will move in a little bit later on tonight. So midnight tonight, could be moving into northwest Arkansas, moving through central Arkansas sometime during the morning rush, of which you will see Nathan Scott tomorrow with Tracy Bean tracking these storms or within that line of storms. We could have the gusty winds, might have some hail, but I noticed that the latest outlook kind of backed off on the risk of large hail here.
It did, yes.
Mainly a wind-driven event.
But this moving through during the heart of the morning rush, heavy rain, the windshield wipers are going to be on high, visibility is going to be reduced. And another thing we have to keep in mind is all the oil on the road gets loosened up. So the chance of maybe hydroplaning is a little bit higher tomorrow, along with the heavy rain happening. So you want to slow down, give yourself some extra time to reach your destination tomorrow morning. And we'll also have some gusty winds, so the leaves will be coming down. So the fact that the roads may be a little more slick than usual will be a concern.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. We haven't had much rain, what, 13/100ths of an inch of rain, or just a little over 10?
Yeah.
Here in Little Rock, some other places may have picked up a little bit more. So you get that oily residue from tires and gas emissions on roadways, and you get a little bit of rain on that. It creates a little bit of a hazard on the roadways.
Yes, and especially if we get like a torrential downpour, we know what happens, especially on Interstate 630. It can pond very quickly, and that's where you can run into trouble. So again, give yourself some extra time. You will need it tomorrow morning.
The severe weather risk hasn't changed a whole lot since last night. This morning's update brought the slight risk a little closer to the central part of the state, the River Valley, northwest Arkansas, including places like Mena, Johnson County, Clarksville, up to Harrison. So they'll have the greatest threat of the wind damage, but you see that orange area in Oklahoma and Kansas, the enhanced risk usually means there's a better chance of strong winds or even a tornado.
Yeah, the orange area, that's a 3 out of 5 risk for Oklahoma into Kansas. That's where the storms are really going to feed off more moisture, and also there's more rotation in the atmosphere, more wind shear to tap into for these storms to get taller. With that more storm fuel in place, the storms will be more mature, more taller in that part of Oklahoma. As they make their way from Oklahoma into Arkansas, they're happening after midnight for the most part. So we lose that daytime heating, so therefore the storms will start to lose some of their punch, but we just don't know how fast that's going to happen. So that's why places like Fayetteville, Rogers, Springdale, into Fort Smith, those areas will have a higher potential of seeing maybe a brief tornado embedded within the line, and then it will continue to weaken as it approaches central Arkansas. But Tom, I would not be surprised, just because we always have that potential. There could be a tornado warning that does go up for somewhere in central Arkansas early morning to begin your Halloween.
I think for at least we could see a tornado watch for a few counties in northwest Arkansas later tonight. And for the rest of us, a severe thunderstorm watch.
Yes.
Because of those winds. And when we break it down for you, the main elements we're talking about, of course, tornado, hail, and winds. I noticed that the hail backed off a bit, up to quarter-sized hail northwest Arkansas. Winds up to 60 miles per hour, a better likelihood in that shade of yellow. And of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a tornado. And when you look at that, it'll be a brief tornado if it does occur within that line, like Nathan was saying, and the area shaded in gray that does include all of central Arkansas. That's more than likely going to be sometime tomorrow morning during the morning rush. Got a lot of people on the roadways. You've got rain falling. You could possibly have a warning. So you've got a recipe there of it could be a pretty hazardous morning tomorrow morning.
It's a typical squall line. It's what's known in the weather community as a QLCS. And you're like, wait, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So I'll try to break it down here for you.
Please
How
do.
about quasi-linear convective system? And that basically means a solid line of storms that's rolling its way through.
Yeah.
And anytime you have this type of situation, we do have some jet energy to work with, so that's why there is that potential we could have some rotation. But I think for the most part, as these storms develop, they'll tap into that jet that's 5,000 feet above us and bring down some of that wind energy.
Sure.
So there could be some pockets of wind gusts, 50 to 60 miles per hour. Another thing you want to keep in mind is you want to go ahead and secure any Halloween decorations. Those 12-foot skeletons, that you see in a lot of people's yards.
Right.
A 50-mile-per-hour wind gust may bring that down.
Or you could actually see some flying witches for a change. Okay, so the timing. We get asked a lot about, hey, when is this going to affect us? And this kind of breaks down the timing or the expectation of the storms tonight. I noticed that our two forecast models that we look at, the short range models that are a little more rapid refresh in variety, it look like they're backing up a little bit, not maybe delaying this by an hour or two.
And it certainly could be the case, but they're pretty much in agreement. I mean, when we see the HER and the graph, our in-house model, compared to the typical high resolution rapid refresh model, for them to have solid agreement that we will have a line of storms, and it's off maybe 1 or 2 hours, that's pretty good in the weather community. So our confidence that it's going to rain tomorrow, and most of the states should see rain, beneficial rain.
Yeah, that's probably the good part of this.
That is, I think, definitely the good part in this. But let's walk you through here.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville, Fayetteville, so Benton County into Washington County, Crawford, Sebastian, Johnson, Franklin, Madison, Carroll County, down through Scott, and also Polk County. The line will start to move into northwest Arkansas as early as maybe 11 o'clock, but certainly as you get past midnight and going into the 1 or 2 o'clock time frame, that's when the worst weather can be expected to roll through the River Valley and northwest Arkansas. Here in central Arkansas, Tom, I think we need to be on our guard maybe as early as midnight, but certainly by 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, that line will continue to progress its way from the west to the east. And here in the metro, things will go downhill quickly as early as 4 o'clock, but it may hold off until 6 o'clock in the morning and then last until 8 or 9 o'clock. And then in east and southeast Arkansas, Monticello, Dumas, through Wynn, Memphis, it's going to take more time for that line to move in that part of the state. Still could pack a punch, though. Still could have some gusty winds with it. And it may be as late as 1 or 2 o'clock for like Chico and Deshay counties to really get in on the action.
And I did notice that the HER especially is kicking back maybe another regeneration of some showers or storms a little later in the afternoon. So yesterday thinking was, okay, this is going to be out of the way. All trick-or-treaters in Arkansas would be great, but a little concerned that as that front moves on through, we might see another round develop in southeast Arkansas. May not pack the punch.
Yeah. It won't be severe because it will be to the west of the front, so it'll be a more stable atmosphere. But there's some upper level energy getting behind this system, and I'm seeing that not only with the HER but also with some other high resolution models. So the confidence in there's going to be a spotty shower thunderstorm that does linger over southeast Arkansas is going up. So Monticello, Fordyce, Star City, you could see certainly a spotty shower storm for trick-or-treaters out there.
Yeah. So let's walk you through what it looks like on one of our future radars. And these change, they come down. First of all, the HER comes down with an update every hour. So with this being the HER, let's go with this one. It's done a pretty good job This is by midnight tonight and early tomorrow morning, that line touching northwest Arkansas. By 3:30 in the morning, it's still in the northwestern part of the state. Not nearly as a solid line. You see some of the colors of red, the reflectivity colors, might be weakening just a bit. That's what we can hope for. But this is kind of the difference. At 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning, it's projecting the line still a little to the west of Little Rock. Yesterday's model run had it over the top of us.
Yeah.
So it has backed up just a little bit.
It's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's the newest information that's coming in now, because this comes in about 1 or 2 o'clock with the latest update. And if you're looking at this radar, people probably wondering, what do the colors actually mean?
Sure.
They don't tell us anything except rainfall intensity or precipitation intensity. But we know, looking at other information, this is going to be storms, because we have storm fuel in place. Now we start to lose that storm fuel as it gets closer and closer to central Arkansas. So I think the number of storms within this line will start to diminish as it approaches us here in the metro, and especially to the east.
So from 6 to 7 o'clock, it's beginning to edge into western parts of Pulaski County in the metro area, Faulkner County. Again, breaking up just a little bit. Some heavy rain. That'll be the only really good thing about this. I don't like overnight storms. I know you don't either.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of people on edge and on alarm. But we need the rain. So hopefully this will provide a good soaking for some folks. This is tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock. It looks as if that line is just to the east of the metro area. And the line to the west of it would be the frontal boundary that is going to spawn or kick off a few more showers in a line at that time.
And Tom, if you notice, it's a little bowing here and there. So that's why we're still a little concerned that there could be a pocket of winds 50 to 60 miles per hour. I don't think this entire line is going to be rolling through with severe thunderstorm warnings, but I do think there's going to be a couple here and there as it makes its way from West Arkansas into Central Arkansas.
Yeah. Again, not expecting a major severe weather outbreak out of this, but since it's happening at night and it's going to affect folks tomorrow morning driving into work and even a part of your Halloween festivities tomorrow afternoon, we thought, hey, let's jump online here and talk about what we can expect, because I think the biggest questions we get, what time is it going to come across my house, and is it okay to go to sleep? We see that all the time on social media. All right, so the next frame we have is for noon tomorrow. Most of the activity is pushed out of northeast Arkansas into western parts of Tennessee. We still have that pocket over southeast Arkansas. There's some heavier rain that can be expected there, but we're beginning to see the rain diminish. Little Rock, Conway, Russellville, Harrison, with clouds decreasing during the afternoon hours. Doesn't mean it's going to clear off for the whole state tomorrow night. And there's that area in southeast Arkansas. This is by tomorrow evening at 9:30. So southeast Arkansas, if there's a place in the state that may have to deal with some raindrops and trick-or-treaters.
You see that redevelopment right through El Dorado, Monticello, possibly as far north as Pine Bluff. Now it looks like there's going to be potential. There could be a passing shower, maybe a rumble of thunder into Jefferson County, into Arkansas County. So here in the metro and off to the north and west, it's dry for trick-or-treaters. Down to the south and southeast, maybe not so much, according to the latest information. Yeah, so the trick-or-treaters in southeast Arkansas, you pick us up, Pine Bluff, Monticello, Star City, Rison, Camden. More than likely we'll have to have a slicker or some type of rain gear to keep the trick-or-treaters from getting wet. So we get out of the rain in central Arkansas. Halloween forecast looks great here. Once we get it out of the way. This is for Pulaski County. This is for Saline County, Faulkner County. Not so much for Jefferson County, Drew County, Deshay County, Chico County, because the chance of rain. But here in most central Arkansas, temperatures into the 60s, falling down to the upper 50s. It has been chilly some Halloweens here. So you look at that forecast, the kiddos do not need to put a jacket because they're going to be cold with the costume. It will be pretty much a nice Halloween evening. Nothing too spooky about it. No, not at all, which is certainly some good news. And there's a lot of folks out there concerned, oh no, we're going to get rained out. Whenever you see it put a percentage of rain, and this will be reflected tonight on the extended forecast, we have put morning showers for central Arkansas because people get into this Halloween. Trick-or-treaters. I mean, we might even have some trick-or-treaters in the newsroom from what I understand. So Halloween is not a complete and total washout by any stretch, but we got to get through the round of some thunderstorms tonight with that line moving in. And when we look at the latest information coming through, there'll be another update tonight. I plan on staying
later on tonight. Nathan and Tracy will handle things tomorrow morning in time for the morning rush. And I really do think that's going to be the big concern is what's happening in the morning between 5 and 8 o'clock with this line moving through.
And we just don't know the timing right now because the storms haven't even developed just yet. They have a tornado watch that has been issued for Oklahoma and Kansas, so it's just a wait and see when those storms initiate. Once they initiate, then the model information will have a better handle on how fast it's going to reach us here in Arkansas.
Right. But we know that we have the ingredients to the west of us. They're going to have some severe weather, Oklahoma, Kansas, and I wouldn't be surprised, Missouri and part of northwest Arkansas. This is really beginning our second severe weather season here in the state.
It's hard to believe, but yes, we do have 2 severe weather seasons. We don't get much of a break. Usually we get it in the summer, but we had those tornadoes in July due to a tropical system. But now that we're getting back to the transition, going from hot to cold, as winter tries to make its way into Canada, the northern tier of the country, you have the jet stream dipping its way back down into the deep south and mid-south. So with storms developing, tapping into that wind energy, our severe weather potential goes up, going through October, November, December, and continues into the winter season.
One of the things that we noticed about the forecast trend for next week is it looks more active.
Yes.
There'll be at least a rain chance heading into the weekend. Election day next week. Rain chances still appear there as well.
And we'll have to be on the lookout for maybe strong storms over the next several rounds. Just because you look at the upper level pattern, certainly out in the Central Plains, they're going to have to deal with more severe weather.
Yeah.
For us, we just don't know because we're usually on the edge of a lot of that potential.
And looking back over the months of September and October, we had a very dry end of September, most of October very dry. One thing I noticed, we talk about, the air mass, warm and dry air mass heats up rapidly during the day. We had a lot of 80-degree temperatures during the day, but at night those numbers dropped off into the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
A nice balance there.
It acts like a desert.
Yeah.
Just because as soon as the sun comes up, that dry ground really absorbs the sun's energy, heats up very quickly. Mm-hmm. The sun goes down, the energy goes, or the heat goes back out into space, and you cool down very quickly.
Yeah, so there's some good and bad with that. I don't like 80-degree temperatures in October or certainly November, especially with a system like this. Luckily with this system, the instability is not as great, but we have a fairly dynamic upper-level system that's going to bring some wind energy our way. Again, that's what we're most concerned about tonight.
Yeah, it's damaging wind threat, the hail threat very, very low, and the tornado threat, you can never write it off. We cannot go on air and be like, no chance of a tornado, because then Mother Nature will throw a curveball at you.
Throw a curveball at us, yeah.
You can never say never. So you always want to be prepared. We're always prepared because we know how Arkansas weather can operate sometimes. We will be ready just in case that the National Weather Service does issue a tornado warning. The difference between a watch and a warning, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll do that here in a minute. But if you're just joining us, THV11 Plus, Nathan Scott and I kind of breaking down what's going to be happening over the next 24 hours or so. Give you peace of mind and answer questions that you may have. And a lot of it is derived around, well, it's a late night event. What time is it going to affect us? We'll run through that again, but we have a weather impact alert from midnight tonight through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's a line of storms capable of producing some strong wind gusts. Cannot rule out a brief tornado, and there might be a little bit of hail within these storms as they move pretty rapidly, or this line of storms moves rapidly from northwest to southeast. It's going to be a quick moving system at that.
It's going to turn out to be a noisy morning. You will be, I think, woken up to the fact that heavy rain is pounding the house and maybe some thunder and lightning, because a large part of the night will be quiet. It's going to be those hours 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, right before sunrise here in the metro, that line will push its way right through us.
Nathan mentioned the difference between a watch and a warning. Part of our job is to make sure that you understand the difference. We still have people out there that, I'm not quite getting it. So just generally walk us through. A watch typically encounters more real estate, and a warning is confined to 1 or 2 or 3 counties.
Yes. And watch is you're watching for the potential.
Right. Yeah.
A warning, you don't hear an alarm go, watch, watch, watch. You hear an alarm go, warning, warning, warning. So when there's a warning issued, that means that there's a likelihood severe weather is heading your direction, or it may occur at any time, or it is occurring.
Yeah, severe weather preparedness at your place. You know, it's probably a good idea to make sure you've got your safe place ready to go. This is a just in case. We're heading into that second time of year where we're going to be more active with our weather. Have your safe place ready to go. Make sure you've got the appropriate paperwork. You know, and you can follow us. You can stream us. Can't say this enough, on our app or THV11 Plus. We'll also be on YouTube and we'll be on Facebook. Thank you, Michael. This is just to help you. We'll be here for you whenever we have severe weather in Arkansas. Again, I expect a watch tonight. We'll be here all night, and Tracy and Nathan will be here with us tomorrow morning, and they will walk you through the morning rush.
And you can tell when we're concerned. We hear this all the time when people watch us. Hey, I knew it was getting serious because I could see it in your face. We're not too concerned about this. This is your typical line of storms that may pack a punch. I mean, 50, 60 mile per hour winds can bring down a tree.
It can. And it can mess up your lawn furniture or any decorations you may have outside. You might hear something rattling around or rustling around. And this really hasn't been the prettiest of falls. Don't expect many leaves to be on the trees after tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of leaves are going to be bye-bye. We're going to see a lot of naked trees out there going into the weekend, just because a lot of them are brown with the drought. There have been some pops of color, though.
Right.
I mean, maples always put on a nice showcase, and also the sweet gums.
All right, before we leave, and in case you're just joining us, let's go over the timeline of the storms tonight one last time before we see you at 5 o'clock tonight. Again, that line of storms expected somewhere in northwest Arkansas between 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock. That's what the dashed line is, affecting the River Valley in northwest Arkansas. West Central, North Central Arkansas, sometime around midnight to 9 o'clock. Could have a few scattered storms tonight. Might have a few this afternoon. And then we'll finally see this area kind of get out of the way between 8 and 2 o'clock tomorrow, but there could be some showers develop behind the main line tomorrow afternoon and evening for trick-or-treaters in southeast Arkansas.
It's a weakening trend, Tom, but nonetheless, you still have to watch it because there's always that potential. One lone storm can go rogue, and that's what we'll be watching out for.
And we have seen that on the lowest end of severe weather potential to the highest end of severe weather potential. Again, marginal risk, a 1 out of 5, but you can still have a strong thunderstorm. Well, I gotta let Nathan go. He's got to go to bed and prepare for tomorrow morning with Tracy. So thank you for joining us live. We will pop in on occasion to bring you, weather updates on Plus. Follow us here. Also follow us on all of our other platforms. The app, our THV11 app, it is free. And just stay safe out there. Be prepared for the weather.
And one other thing to mention is going to be, go ahead and join our THV11 Weather Watcher Facebook group.
Please do.
We love to get your reports. And we also love to get pictures. It doesn't have to be necessarily storm reports. It can be sunsets. It can be snow when we get that. Hopefully this winter, fingers crossed, we'll get some snow. But that's one way to let us know what's happening in your neighborhood. Also, we had that 501-376-1111 number. You can send your reports and text your pictures to us through that as well.
But do it safely.
Yes.
All right.
All about safety.
Yeah, all about safety. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you again at 5 and 6 o'clock. We'll have more data to pass along on the potential for storms tonight. Everybody, stay safe out there.